All right, let's talk about something that gets people riled up. Because I'm going to do that little thing where I play with the same logic using just different implications of someone else's words. I'm going to have a bit of fun with this one, though. Now, without getting too into my own opinions on things, early stage abortion, I'm very kind of non-opinionated on that. Morally, I'm very dead set against late-term abortions, like what you can get in New York, where you can have an infant fetus ripped out of you piece by piece and call it an abortion, pretty much all the way up to childbirth. That's just fucked up. However, that's kind of what the modern narrative is pushing for. The woman's right to choose all the way up to the point of delivery. So, I think that says enough about my own inclinations on the matter. Let's have a bit of fun with words. Now, I do equate the whole late-term abortion thing to infanticide, because that's pretty much what it is. So let's look at remark number 1, and then we'll get to remark number 2. Infanticide? Tell me more about how a clump of cells with no cognitive thought and very basic and primitive anatomy is a human. Well, in infancy stages, and I mean, I can attest to this because I fucking popped out more than a few months premature. I think I was something like a few days shy of 3 months. But at 6 months, I had all of the organs of a human being and a brain, and I survived, so that kind of says enough about the anatomy of a human. They don't have a primitive anatomy, they have an infant anatomy. Because, well, we'll get into that. Anyway, number 2. Comment number 2. Also, pregnancy can be extremely dangerous. So let's start with number 2. Pregnancy can be extremely dangerous. So can practically every other function the human body is evolved to be capable of. Breathing can be extremely dangerous. Yep. Sure can if you try to do it underwater. Walking can be extremely dangerous. Well, damn straight. One small slip, you could crack your skull and die. Pooping can be incredibly life-threateningly dangerous. They'll fucking straight up kill you if you have dysentery. Life is hazardous. Now, this is not a matter of environment. This is a matter of you're not fucking immortal. This is the reality of your own mortality. That it could end at any moment due to anything. You could be walking through a fucking field, have a plane fly overhead, and end up with 200 pounds of atmospherically frozen shit impale you to the ground. It's happened. Some lady in England got impaled by a pissicle that fell from a plane. So, yeah, pregnancy can be fucking dangerous. So can crossing the street. So, to the person who said that, you're breaking new ground there, Copernicus. Come back when you discover more epiphany revelations towards the nature of mankind in the universe. Now, about the clump of cells comment. Well, for one thing, you're just a clump of cells too. Granted, you're a clump of cells that was allowed to live and develop to maturity. But you hit your prime, you're past your prime, just like me, and now you're on the decline where it is a slow, inevitable crawl towards a gloomy death. Now, I mean, I don't know about you, but me personally, when I go, I would like to have my kids there to, offer me a bit of comfort in my dying days, instead of thinking, boy, All those vacations I went on with my wife who died 10 years ago were sure great. I'm so lonely. Because that's what happens when you fucking kill off your kids in the womb. So, now that aside, that would be where I find the fault in the logic in the argument. Because essentially what this person's saying is that it's a human right to destroy life over so little as the inconvenience of responsibility that comes with being a part in creating it. Grow a pair, take some responsibility, we'll get to that. Alternately to abortion, I suppose we should start euthanizing the elderly and infirm, with priorities given to dementia and Alzheimer's patients, because, you know what, they have a regressive body. Are they human with half their organs 40% shut down? Or does that make them subhuman because they're at a diminished capacity? And there's no personality left to them. I mean, really, there's no reason to keep the elderly and infirm alive. We should just euthanize them. And it should be the children's right to choose, because they didn't ask for grandma to have dementia. Why should they have to be burdened with, sanctity of life and, preservation of life and, basic morality when it would interfere with what they want? Go figure, this guy doesn't have kids of his own. He probably wouldn't fucking know what to do with them. Anyway, so, should we give them the right to choose? Maybe after we do the, third trimester abortions, we could start looking at legislating 527th trimester late-term abortions for everyone. But why stop there? What about handicapped people? They have regressive physiology, regressive neurology. They're technically subhuman, but they're just clumps of cells too. So I guess it's a human right to arbitrarily choose the value of life based on convenience. Moral compass is just doing fucking 360s here. So, look. The over-the-top hyperbole aside, I'm not saying that I'm outright against it. I get it. Sometimes it's medically necessary. Sometimes people are made victims and the situation has consequences. I'm aware of the arguments on both sides. And I've already conceded that I am very impartial to, the early term ones. It's the late term ones that I take the issue with, because it is infanticide. But that's neither here nor there. What I should be getting at is that the procedure, at least in my own opinion, is that it should be the exception and not made the rule. We have condoms, we have birth control, we have flights of stairs, we have the morning after pill, we even have abstinence. It's not like we as a society are lacking in options to avoid being in the very situation that requires pulling a late-term infant from the womb up to birth, limb by limb, until a head with a face plops out and onto the metal tray. Advocating that as a social standard is moral degeneracy. I think anybody that is advocating for that needs to get their moral compass recalibrated and give their head a shake and maybe quit trying to pervert their perception of what life is to fit convenience. Because that's just fundamentally wrong on so many levels. It's fucking absurd. That's my thought on it. It's absurd. And if you're advocating for that morally, you're devoid. You should probably never have kids of your own. You probably would just end up hating them for their existence. Because for all your virtue signaling about the right to choose and the whole self-righteousness of your mentality, what your mentality lacks is a basic direction of morality. And it is because of the dehumanizing aspect of this type of intellectual gymnastics that I'm probably never going to see eye to eye with you on it. Exception, not the rule. Anything else? That's just a perversion of nature. Straight up.